Hi, Jordan.
Hello, how are you?
Fine, yourself?
Not too bad. Okay. That's how you did? Yeah. Hey.
Jan, I was gonna ask you about, do you have a dog?
A dog?
Mm-hmm.
No, I have 2 cats.
Two cats, oh.
Do you group cats?
Huh?
Does your database group
I
cats?
think- Actually, it's only for dogs, but, well, I thought I saw your picture of the class list, and then they have the dog pictures, that's why I thought you had the dog.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought you had a dog too.
Yeah, right?
What are you talking, what is this class?
You go to my classes
Mhm.
and then
Oh,
you
just the
click-
picture of the basset hound?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love basset hounds.
Oh,
Yeah.
You need one.
Okay,
I just
well,
assumed it was your dog too.
Do you have one when you're growing up or something?
No, it's just they're like my favorite dog.
Oh. Okay.
When I retire, I want to raise them and sell them
Breed 'em?
and be a breeder. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
It's good money.
It is. I mean, it's like chill too. You know, you just wake up, walk your dog, just feed 'em,
Exactly.
hang out.
Your life is just to take care of like your favorite dog.
Exactly.
And they're not very active dogs. They walk about 10 feet. and
They're
then-
noisy dog.
No.
Yeah, they are. But,
Oh, is it really?
oh yeah,
Yeah,
Their ears are so cute.
they are.
My grandma has 2 of them.
Yeah.
Had 2 of
Tell them
them.
to shut up, they howl louder.
You know,
True.
beagles are pretty loud.
They also like to run away.
Their nose takes them places.
But people do love them. Hot dog on feet.
It is an awesome picture.
An awesome picture.
His ears look like wings.
It was just like the perfect picture of a hound, of a basset hound. So I had to take it.
I thought you had that dog, that's why I put your name on the customer.
I wish. He's freaking cute.
It could be your future dog. The dog, you'll have one.
Was there something on the Leo that you guys needed in particular, or you both saw it, or were you guys just there? Okay,
Just exploring.
just making sure.
Yeah.
Not missing something.
Just wanted to use your guys' name, so that's why I
Oh, yeah.
I went to the
Okay.
class list.
Gotcha, that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, Dr. Ewing, you were in my database too.
Yeah, let me know if you go to that computer though, just what is it you wanna do?
I just put my file on the
Oh.
desktop, so
Okay.
I don't have to take the
Good,
class
okay, just let me
time.
know. That's not a bad idea for anybody else to preload their files on the desktop. Save last time, unless that's the obvious one. You're welcome.
You want me to do the same? That's okay?
Good idea, thanks for checking.
Hey, wow, you're wearing the
Okay, take the
facial
money.
mask.
Okay,
I've never seen
Okay.
that.
just leave my textbook.
Yeah, I've never done.
Who are you and what to do with Mike?
Excuse me?
That's Mike's voice.
Oh, okay.
Where's Marcus?
I thought we saw you on the ISIS,
Yeah.
so, we have 4, 8, 9, this is our 10th class.
This is the halfway point, right? Or,
I think we're past the halfway point. So you have 3, 6, 8, this is our 8th class, this is halfway point, I should listen to you. But I've said that before. No, I still hesitate to listen to you. So everybody's been reporting what a breeze Microsoft Access is, how much fun it is.
Yeah, where
and how
are they?
enjoyable, and how
What
glad
class
they
is
are,
that?
they finally have my picture on their
What
document.
class is that? You got a
Hi,
second
stranger,
class?
welcome home.
Excuse me, sir. Thank you, sir, for coming.
Kosuzo, were you able to look at the videos for the class you missed? Look at the videos, you know where they are?
I tried. Today? Or like,
No, the class you missed, the last
yeah,
class.
I tried to watch that
Yeah.
video today.
Yeah,
That's 12 also.
but not successful, right? No time or
Yeah, it's not, no videos.
no videos yet? You're right. Just testing you. Didn't upload them yet. Okay. Busy. Mhm. Hmm. Hi, sir.
Hello.
I didn't tell anybody.
Can I bring it,
Yeah,
take it off from my wall?
yeah, please do that now, this time.
Break your computer real quick?
break it slowly, let it last. So 2 minutes and we will commence to begin. If you thought system software was exciting, you just didn't know that application software was waiting for you.
It was broke before I got here.
Working fine? So people are installing their access on the computer to save class time, or when we look later. 30 seconds, no more time to install. So, with just 30 seconds to go, could I get you to try to find a good stopping point in whatever activity you're engaged? So you might have to actually finish that later. I know it's hard to put yourself loose.
All right.
Okay, I'd like to start this class. So Sierra, can I get you to drop pen and start in? Thank you. Thank you. Okay, any comments, questions, remarks? So we've got 5, 8 people, 1 empty chair someplace. She'll go. Okay, need to rearrange the schedule. Test 2 is scheduled to be for our next class. I'm going to postpone it 1 week because test 2 is on chapters 5, 6, 7, and 8, of which we've not yet done 7 and 8. So most of you say no trouble, test before we do them, but I just want to be careful about it. So we will assign chapter 7 for Monday, chapter 8 for next Wednesday, and then the Monday after we will test on 5, 6, 7, and 8. So I'll distribute that test a week from today for you to take home, as usual. And then we'll have 2 tests left after that. But the good news is that this leaves you to go 100% between now and Monday on your Access project. And you don't have much else to do except read chapter 7, which is a hard chapter, by the way. It breaks tradition with 5 and 6, which are sort of, a snack. This is a full meal. It's on networks, and it will take thinking about. So we'll do chapter 7 for Monday, but I do want the Access projects wrapped up with a bow on them by Monday also. So I'm available in this room tomorrow, and I'm available Saturday from 2 to 4, and perhaps next Monday, desperate 11th hour attempts also. I'm seriously pushing to wrap up Access by Monday. Yes, sir.
And will that be just giving you the file and then that's it, or is it a
No,
presentation?
that's show and tell.
Okay.
You get your classmates to decide it's worthy, and I'll write down the grade while they so decide. Okay, any questions about what we'll be doing the next week or so? Okay, now I want to share with you, since you are now near to being qualified Microsoft Access programmers, that you can make some money programming Access. It happened to me. Evening, Shoko, how are you tonight?
Good. So we're
At the beginning of class, I just did it because I felt like.
Okay, let's focus. Let's focus. Okay, good. What happened to me is I was teaching this course 212 years ago, and one of my students was the IT person for one of the Navy offices. And he said, the guys across the hall need a database repair. The guys across the hall were the SATO organization, the ones that get your commercial flights out, said they were running a database system called DBase 2, which was the most popular database system out until Bill Gates decided it shouldn't be. and they needed to update it and repair it. So I made them an offer, since I wanted to learn how to use Microsoft Access, and I didn't know how, and I seriously wanted somebody to pay me to learn how, that instead of repairing their obsolete language for $5,000, I would build them a new one for $15,000. They snapped it up, and 3 months later, it was in my pocket. So it can happen to you too. One of my students in this air base, 1995, took this course, went out on the base. He needed some money, times were tight. And he started to volunteer free access programs to offices around the base, and they snapped it up till it built up a resume. Then they weren't free anymore. And you guys can do the same. Many of you are already aware, you have the feeling that you can build a access program in your workspace next week that would be appreciated. And then you get that appreciation, and later you can get the dollars. So you can start now and make this your side job if you want to. It's real. Okay. Happens. Okay, so now let's turn our attention to the fascination, Chapter 6, Application Software. Jordan Green, the only safe thing to do with you is to have you go first. Go.
What do you want me to go first with?
Could you choose your answer person and throw your question at them?
You told me we weren't doing 10 questions.
Yeah,
I asked you when I was leaving.
Well,
Jeff asked me and I said yes. How many heard yes?
that was
well,
for
let
the
me,
last
let me,
chapter.
let me clarify what I heard.
Yeah, thank you, Mike.
I write down everything,
Thank you.
and,
You can't read it.
you know, I don't have anything written about chapter 6. Not saying that you didn't say something about it.
Jeff, do you remember asking me if there should be 10 questions?
For chapter 5.
No, 6.
Negative 5.
Uh-oh.
I'll show you what I wrote down.
We trapped you, sir.
10 questions for chapter 5.
That's
the
what I
last
had
note
too.
I got.
I don't recall.
I'm the same way. I'm getting too old to use that memory thing that they gave us. So I write everything down. That was my,
Let's take a poll on who has questions for chapter 6. How about that?
yes, let's take some
Because
on
I
That is good.
Yeah.
So who has questions they don't have an answer for that they want to throw to classmates, something that puzzled them? Now, prerequisite to this, of course, is that you read chapter 6. Okay, I'll throw some out there. What are the 5 most widely used types of application software? Sierra, the 5 most widely, and you know this from personal experience, okay, word processing.
Oh, like,
Yes.
like, spreadsheet,
Yes, 2.
display, like PowerPoint, I forgot what the specific
It's a
term.
graphic.
Yeah, graphic,
Graphics is 3.
database. Does that count for one?
Yes.
I'll count it, okay?
I can't remember the exact term, but I know I've read it, but.
Yeah, okay, that's true, you really did do it. And that pretty much completes it. Graphics,
that fine?
multimedia,
Well,
Photoshop, SketchUp.
Would that be like Adobe PDF? What would that fall
It's
under?
like
Or is
illustration,
that graphical?
video editing,
Yeah,
videos.
it's fine with that type of stuff.
Like Adobe is?
Yeah.
Okay, Jordan Green, please tell me the 4 types of ownership that one can have after writing a computer program. The 4 levels of ownership you can have are,
The 4 levels of ownership.
hi,
I don't know this one.
it took me a long time to phrase a question in a way he just couldn't echo it. Done.
Yeah, you got me.
Owning.
13 years of experience.
That's all I was looking for was.
Okay,
turn this around.
Gene, 1 level.
There's commercial software.
Commercial software, the standard type. Now, commercial software, the purchase of it used to be a lot simpler. You were allowed to install it on 1 computer. Why isn't that typical anymore? Right.
Because they're having a hard time figuring out how many users are using it, like if they have it on a network to a bunch of different computers, they don't know. They're trying to license it for just 1 CPU or trying to figure out how to do it like that.
Right, and typically, how many of you own more than 1 computer? And so you buy the software, you don't wanna be limited to one computer, so they say one computer and one laptop, et cetera, it gets nasty. Then we have quad-core computers, so they wanna charge you, they wanna count that as 4 users. And the neatest one came out from a company that, that when you buy the software, you pay for a certain number of tokens. So Jeff, do you know what a token is?
No, you're not.
It's what you put in the subway machine to get on. And it's very similar. So if you buy in at 5 tokens, then that means when somebody starts using your program, they know about it, and that counts as 1. And if that total gets over 5, then they contact you, they're in trouble. So they keep track of number of users. Was that a answer?
Yeah, I was just thinking, is token similar to a key?
Yeah.
Oh, like a product key?
Yeah.
We won't go there. Okay, commercial software is the most familiar type. The next type is called shareware. Ayana, can you tell me what is shareware?
The shareware is the type of software that people can use to, for example, at the certain business or like individual, but it's not
It's not free.
it's not free.
That's exactly right. Commercial software often gives you a trial version or a limited function version, because you follow, that you can use, and then after that is up, then you put the money on the table, agreed? But shareware, there's no limit on the trial version, and it is the full version. You get to use it, and you're requested to pay usually a much reduced fee compared to commercial software at the end of the trial. But if you don't pay, you just get to keep using it. So ethically, you should pay, so these guys will pump out another version. So this is often called guiltware. Guiltware is shareware, true? And then sometimes it's run on a donation basis. You know, they put pictures of their 5 kids and up there and tell their life horrendous story and say what they need from you, and et cetera, et cetera. So shareware is guiltware. They try to shame you into paying, okay? But they don't basically shut you down if you don't. But they do something called nagware. What's nagware, Jordan? You're very familiar with it, right?
Constantly keeps asking you for money. Or
Yeah, they keep
asking you,
reminding you
You
haven't
wanna-
donated or paid, agreed? Ad nauseum. Now, opposed to this is what's called freeware. So, Manuel, can you tell us anything about freeware? And you might guess that it is.
Well, if I want to take Jordan's approach, I would say it was where that was free.
Beware, beware.
I just,
You didn't get that. It is free. However, then there's something called public domain software, and this is a question of the night. Kazuza, tell us the difference between freeware and public domain software. You need to know this for the rest of your life. Okay, volunteer. Thanks, Sierra.
it's not copyrighted?
Exactly. Aren't you guys facing up to the fact that she has learned the material and perhaps not you? It's not copyrighted. Okay, now tell us a few more words. Which one of them is copyrighted?
Which one of what?
Freeware or public domain?
Which one is
Is copyrighted, yes.
Freeware.
Freeware is copyrighted, and you must pass the copyright on if you give it to someone else, so they just want to get credit for it, agreed? And they can step in at any point and change their mind. But public domain software is never copyrighted. So it's out there. Now, Jordan Green, can any one of these 4 levels be compatible with open source?
Freeware?
Can all 4 levels of commercial, guiltware, freeware, public domain, are they all compatible with an open source approach?
Yes.
Yes, good answer. They all are. But do you often find commercial software using open source? Sort of self-defeating. a little bit, okay? So Jeff, what is an app in its original sense, although it's grown from its original sense now? What's an app?
An application,
For mobile device.
any device. Well,
Right, any device now, but originally
yeah.
mobile device, that's what the term was coined for, okay? So, Shoko, what's the famous 99 cents? 99 cents. Anybody got a 99-cent app out there? Tell us about it.
It's 99 cents.
Yeah, tell us what it does. Tell us what, not that you bought, that you made. What does it do? Did you talk to this
It
guy?
offers more. Not for me, that was the original. It offers more features, but there's a free one usually, but the one I use like.
Not used, did you write one?
Oh, did I write one?
Yes.
Did I write an application for 99 cents?
99 cents, we often
Sell
have
it to
people in this class that have done that.
I wish, but no, I'm not that good.
Okay, so Jordan H., can you tell us what a 99-cent app is? You just sell it for 99 cents.
Now you're trying to make money.
Right, and it's on a mobile device, and it's usually just a cute little thing that people may or may not buy, and some of them click with the public, sell 1 million copies at 99 cents. I leave the arithmetic to you. So I think I've already told you about my pet rock. Well, 212 years ago, at Christmas time, one of our housemates gave me a gift in a box, and in the box it said, "Your pet rock." So I opened it up, and sure enough, there's a rock inside. And then an instruction booklet, an introduction, that said, "This introduces you to your pet rock, which is the ideal pet for people that are too busy to have a pet, but want a pet that they can relate to, talk to, share their troubles with." And then there was the next care and feeding of your pet rock, how often you should bathe it, and things that you should say to it. So this guy, just walking along the beach one day, picked up a rock, thought about it, picked up about 5,000 of them, put them all in boxes, wrote this cute little instruction brochure, and sold every one of them, and couldn't keep up with demands.
Oh my God.
I loved it. I mean, it was ideal for me. I didn't want a pet, but then I had a pet. Okay? So these 99-cent apps are just like that. You gotta get something that's gonna click with the people. It doesn't have to be useful. Okay, now, Mike, if you write a program for a desktop or laptop such as you're working on, do you have different constraints on you than if you wrote a program for a mobile device, such as Jeff and George Green are working with? As a programmer, do you have different constraints on you?
I would actually have to answer that with a yes.
What would one of those constraints be? Do you have full capability for various input and output devices on those toys?
You don't, and then the operating system are not alike.
And their operating system might not run the program that you're writing. That's all true. It's less true now. And do they have features on their mobile device that aren't present on the laptop, such as Jeff?
Touchscreen.
Yeah, sometimes. That's all true. Now, should you put elaborate keyboard-heavy intensive requirements on a mobile device program? Some people, they can text on a mobile device faster than a professional typist can type, but not everyone. So you want to be careful of that. What about the small screen? Does that also cause problems if you put a very loaded screen, which works fine on your 30-inch monitor? So you have to be aware of your audience. But more and more, if you want to write an app, does it not have to be cross-platform? What do we mean by cross-platform? Ayana, what would we mean by cross-platform? First, what is a platform? A platform is a combination of hardware and software for which your program will be running, such as Windows on a PC, or even Windows on a mobile device now. So that's the platform for which you are writing the program. Now, before, recently, you would choose the platform that you wanted to write it for and ignore the others. But more and more, to be successful, your program must be cross-platformable. What does that mean?
That means the software you can use either of, like, for example, Microsoft or Apple.
Yes, and how about desktop or mobile? It has to be able to come up and running on any one of these devices if you want to reach the full market, which means that there's a lot of compromises in what you do. It might be the worst of all worlds if you try to do that, okay? There is another division coming now in the last few years about the way that a program will run. Good. So Shoko, what's the difference between installed software and web-based software? Installed software, by installed I mean it's that you load on your computer and install it. And how does that contrast to what we call web-based software? Web-based software. For example, Microsoft Office now will not install on your computer. If you want to run Microsoft Office, you connect to the internet and you run their copy of Microsoft Office. Download it. Okay, there are other packages, of course. Can you say anything more about that difference? Yeah. Isn't it a bit like owning a car and renting a car? If you install it on your computer, don't you have a little sense that it's yours? But if you're running it on the cloud, on the internet, are you paying rental fee to use it per amount of time, yes?
I have a question. So like MMOs, like World of Warcraft, like MMOs,
Go ahead.
like World of Warcraft. So you have to like install it onto your computer, but it's also web-based. Is that
Yeah.
right?
That's right, because it has an anchor or part on your computer that talks to the other part.
So
Okay,
could it be both?
that is both, but that's neither, not both.
So it's neither.
That's neither, because it's not independent on either side.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's neither. True. And now, does anyone have any who's using cloud-based right now? Which one?
iCloud.
What's on it?
Email, everything.
Office?
Office, whatever, yeah.
What do you pay? How much?
Free, Apple.
Up to a certain extent.
You
I'd say,
get
like,
limited storage,
Yeah.
I think it's 5 gigs.
but it's 5 gigs, which good luck.
Well, as long as you have an Apple computer, it's all free.
Yeah, as long as you're on iOS or macOS.
That's a good price. Okay, I bought Microsoft Office for a few bucks. Never got around to using it, but it's set there. So on this, now, what's the downside? Well, what's the upside of using cloud as opposed to installing on your own computer? As a user, what's the upside?
Frees up your storage,
Frees up your storage,
backup.
it's
Yeah.
automatically backed up.
Yeah.
Okay, there's some obvious downsides.
Apps run slower, and if the server goes down, you can't even access your software.
Hell with a service, what if your internet connection goes down?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean your server?
Yeah.
Yeah, if your server goes down, or something else happens. In other words, you're dependent on the internet being up and running. Now, 10 years ago, that was risky business. How many say it's fairly reliable right now? The internet's going to be there just like power in your house, mostly. Okay, and that's true, okay, but is there any other disadvantage to it? Hint, privacy,
Privacy.
gone.
Zero.
Yeah, gone, okay, great. And of course, you're dependent on that company staying in business also. That's another factor. But if your hard drive crashes, you've still got your stuff out there, true? If their hard drive crashes, now which is more vulnerable to hacking? Are they about the same?
No.
Which is worse?
The internet-based.
Cloud is more vulnerable to hacking? Okay. How come the rest of you are not already on the cloud? out for it?
I don't have that much stuff.
I have Mac, so
You on the cloud?
yeah,
Oh, you didn't raise your hand.
I don't wanna talk.
In the wrong class. This is a flipped class. You're the one that does talk. Can you find 10 words to say about your cloud experience? I know it's a lot, 9. Nice,
I
stop.
just use it.
Okay, there it is right there.
I just,
He said he doesn't use it, I don't use mine, yeah.
Oh, I was counting the words he was saying.
You got four.
It was 4.
I was trying to convince him he's
5.
among friends, and that just went out. Okay, Gene, why aren't you in the cloud?
Kind of like your argument earlier when you were saying you don't really feel like you own it. I prefer everything that I have. It's my responsibility that I back it up. It's on my hard drive. It's on a thumb drive. If it's out on the cloud, I don't like having to log in to access it. A lot of
You're
the time.
paranoid.
Yeah, I'm paranoid.
yeah.
How many of you are slightly paranoid? Loss of control. Loss of control. Who is it? Who are these guys? Never met them? What are they doing? Do I want to be in this position? Okay, Ayana, why aren't you on the cloud?
Because, like, I used to use not this type of phone. It's like a, we call, it's like a, how can I call
Flip
it?
phone?
Flip phone, yes. And then, like everyone using the smartphone, depend on the like a cloud system because it's useful to like being everywhere with your phone. You're like, you can use the internet.
So you
anywhere.
are on the cloud.
But
Yeah, but
now, now I figure out I am, but when you asked, like I didn't realize this is kind of like cloud stuff, so.
you don't
the
like to
answer is
talk.
yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
Like
think
elephant
Quiet, quiet back there. Quiet back there.
Mr. Influence.
You don't like to talk, well, you will kibitz. As if it's not traceable. Okay, a lot of you have got one foot on the cloud and don't know it because you're just using your phone, right? But that's where it's going. How many don't know how to get on the cloud on their PC? You don't really know how to do it. Okay, and don't real feel a need, don't bother. Not broke, don't fix it. Oh, that's true. Okay, now, where do you think we're gonna be 10 years from now? More on the cloud, completely on the cloud?
I feel like more, because it's just like almost like seemingly maybe to the user that it's like as much access as you could buy, like as much storage as you could buy. So people are taking more pictures and people are downloading more apps
And will not be taken for granted. And people won't even know what a hard drive is. I mean, why? And because, of course, the increase in bandwidth every year, speed, doesn't make that to be a problem anymore like it used to be, sir.
Well, isn't there also some entrepreneur, not Elon Musk, but someone like him trying to launch global Wi-Fi, something like that? Like I don't know, it's like satellite.
Satellite
system.
based?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're launching it now.
Well, Bill Gates tried it, but crashed. That was one of his 2 failures that I know about it. Of course, the knock on satellite connections that are up there in a fixed orbit is response time. Takes 3 seconds to get there, 3 seconds to come back. So there's a time lag. So he wanted to orbit several hundred low orbit satellites. So they're like mobile cell phone type towers up there, which would remove the time lag problem. He even had a name for his project. He invested a little pocket change, a couple $100 million into it, and he got a few of them up there, and it turned out it wasn't going to compete with what was out there. So he backed out of it. And the other one that I know about it was the changing pictures. He moves in a social circle where when he and his wife go out to dinner, they often enter a mansion that has several $1 million original paintings on the foyer as you come in. You can't miss seeing them. Ooh and ah, agree? Originals, art masterpieces. So he wanted to get a screen about the size of that whiteboard, very high fidelity, that would flash and display 10 or 20 masterpieces. His technological answer to his snotty friends. And, he put one in his house, but that was about the only one that sold. It really didn't do it. Most of his other stuff did better. Did a lot better. Okay, so here we are back to this. And, now the same issue as privacy.
Oh, yeah, I had something. The security issue also is a plus for the cloud, because, for example, if you get your portable device stolen, instead of all the data being on the device, you can just wipe the device remotely. So locally, like globally, yeah, you have the whole security issue because anyone can hack into your system, which whatever.
Well,
But
can't you also
locally-
wipe your hard drive remotely?
Huh?
Can't you also wipe anything in your tablet remotely?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if you get it stolen, you just go to another like internet-based location and have your phone wiped, and they have a brick.
So are you saying that is an argument for keeping your data local?
No, for keeping it cloud.
Well, if your data is local, can't you also blank it out remotely?
But it wouldn't be backed up, right?
Yeah, it wouldn't be backed
Then
up.
you
That's
would-
right. Yeah,
you
you
would
can wipe
lose it
it,
too.
but you just wipe everything out. If you're on the cloud, you just reset it into
At
a.
least you can.
Say thank you, Steve.
Thanks for
I didn't want to.
Saved his armpit right there. Okay, now this privacy issue has been here before. Some of you grew up with this, so you're not aware of it. But the first time I got a message on my computer that they were going to update my system, I almost threw the computer against the wall, because I had no idea that they were inside and controlling my computer. I controlled my computer. Even when I'm connected to the internet, nothing happened that I didn't do. They were passive. Then suddenly they were no longer passive. They came into your computer, updated things, looked at things, checked things, pretty much did what they want, and as soon as you were connected to the internet, you had lost that privacy. Some people then pulled the internet plug and never went back because they wanted their computer to be their computer. Now, most of you grew up after that happened. Most of you. And you take it for granted that that computer is not your computer. That if you're on the internet, they're on you too. But that was our first great loss of privacy. How many of you did go through that one? Yeah, okay. What was your emotion?
I'm not worried. I have nothing to hide.
Right. Now, in the ethics course, we also discussed the loss of privacy in a lot more detail because we discussed it over the last 100 years. Now, like in the 1930s, I remember it myself, a man would walk down the street. If anybody spoke to him, it was rude. What are you speaking to me for? You're intruding in my space. If I want to talk to you, then I'll let you know, and I haven't been introduced to you anyway. So everyone was strong, silent type, okay, macho. That was the way men and women, well, we won't go there. Never mind. But that evolved. That evolved into it's now natural for someone you don't really know to come up and start being able to talk to you, and you're obligated to respond in kind, agree? You don't have that privacy that you used to have anywhere you went. You had that privacy, the shell around you. And people would say, pardon me. They wouldn't just come up and start talking. Or may I have a moment of your time? Stuff like that. So that all went. And then there were various other levels of privacy that went also, such as the party line telephone.
You mean where you can like pick up a phone like when somebody else is on?
Yeah, because the technology wasn't there so everyone could have a unique connection. So they would string one line down the whole street and every house would feed off of it. If any house was talking, it was yours. Just pick it up. So people got very good at picking up and releasing the hook so quietly. And everybody knew everything, of course, more loss of privacy. Of course, the person that knew more was the switchboard operator downtown and absolutely knew everything, no secrets at all. So every technological advance has shrunk the amount of privacy that you have down now. Go into the security cameras. They're supposed to catch people running red lights. They catch a lot more. They catch married people coming home in the crack of dawn. And so all kinds of stuff. There are issues with this privacy. And the lesson that I learned teaching the class is just what Jeff said. I discussed these laws of privacies, and I said, doesn't it bother you that Google knows everything that you like? And the answer is no, it doesn't bother me. People have adapted to the new level of privacy and forgotten the previous. People are adaptable. The human race is very adaptable. So all of the cries right now against another loss of privacy in a few years is going to be taken for granted. So these privacy issues don't much bother us. As Jeff says, we have no secrets, by whether we choose to or not. Sir?
I just want to relay a story of privacy since we're on that I recently took knowledge of, because it happened more often. And so everybody probably use Amazon, right? Right? Shopping or whatever. So a couple months ago, I'm shopping Amazon and I'm looking at something, I don't know, something like a jacket or a coat or something. And I was surprised that in my email, I got an email from Amazon saying, hey, you like this coat? And so I'm trying to make the connection of, okay, why did I get this email?
Well, what was the answer? Marketing,
There's no
right?
privacy.
Oh, that's right.
I was looking at the coat on Amazon on the internet,
Yeah,
and I received an email
right.
from Amazon. So I was kind of like, hey, wait a
You
minute.
got off easy. How many of you received emails from other companies? That's right. You shop on Amazon, you don't buy,
Yeah.
and then all the other companies
Yeah.
suddenly know about it because that list gets sold.
Something that happened to me with like Amazon that kind of worried me was I knew about those emails. So if you're like searching on Amazon, it'll let you know like,
That coat you viewed is
yeah,
on
it's like,
sale or
do you still
something.
want this?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
so there's two things. Like, first of all, for like Christmas shopping for like me and my husband, like my husband has
That's
my
my
email.
husband and I.
My husband and I, nobody corrects me on that. So my husband and I, we know each other's password. It's not a big deal. We don't have anything to hide either. So he logs into my account sometimes and will check and see if we have mail because I have like 15,000 emails I've not read because they're all advertisements. Anyways, that's off topic. So he knows I'm not responsible enough to read my email, so he'll see if we have a package at the post office. And then when we were this Christmas, it was showing up Christmas gifts that I had looked on Amazon for him, and so he knew exactly what I was buying.
That's bad. That's bad.
Something else is I'm seeing things that is alarming to me because I don't know if it's me looking on my Amazon account or if it's my husband.
I would
looking at
suggest
stuff.
that you don't look at each other's emails, separate but equal.
He was just trying to be responsible.
Omar Khayyam was a great Arab poet, and his advice on marriage was that both of you drink deeply but not from the same cup. In other words, keep a little bit of separateness there. And could I get that you and Jeff Green average out on the number of words that you say, take some kind of mean, take everything. Okay, now, my reaction was I got outraged the first time I got messages from Amazon showing up advertisements to buy this, what I had shopped for the previous day, now it's down to the previous hour. And then I objected to students, and some of them said, well, I find it useful because I really did want to track that stuff and buy it, and I ended up buying it. And so I said, well, yeah, so I looked at it more for usefulness, and I found it to be useful too. I've responded to some of these follow-up ads. The other thing that they do is each time you don't respond, the next one is $5 lower.
So it's good.
Gene, you
So
notice
wait.
that? They come down in the price?
Yeah, but I'm just more disturbed because it's like, it kind of peels back the veil of online society that you're just perpetuating this mindless consumerism. Buy this, buy that, buy this, buy that, and that's all they care about. They'll flood your email to buy this crap that you don't need, and that's the whole thing, man.
Your mindless materialism is what we're getting into. How many of you buy a lot of stuff on Amazon that you don't need, never use? Well, I got a house full of it. Okay, yeah, and it just consumes time, consumes energy, just even to look at the ads. And so we're in an endless shopping. And there's another question in this course that does come up, usually on a later chapter in the internet, but it's here natural right now. A few years ago, there was a deep concern of 14 and 15-year-old children becoming addicted to internet gaming, going down the internet cafe all day, having no social life, nothing gone, and everyone was really worried about it. And then last 2 years it was revealed that this affliction has now spread to 25-year-olds and is on the way up. And there is something called computer addiction. And there are rehab centers.
Korea's got a huge problem.
Okay, now, so there is adult computer addiction. You've got to have your computer fixed. I do. I don't feel right till I read the Yahoo. I won't call it news, but whatever it is. Okay, so raise your hand if you're willing to confess to computer addiction.
To some degree.
Okay, now, is this a American problem?
It's a worldwide.
Yeah, that's worldwide. Well, it depends on
Okay,
how
is there something that needs
developed the country is.
addressing? Is it something that needs addressing?
Definitely.
Definitely, why?
Why?
Yeah, why?
Because
Why?
it's a problem.
Why is it a problem? What's wrong with it?
People die from playing video games for too
Let
long.
people die anyway.
I feel like it divides people a lot too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but you take a shut-in person that doesn't have the ability to go outside of the house, that's a plus, but I don't want to take a single example. But before we say, the usual thing is we say it's bad because it changes life as we're used to it. It changes life as we are used to it, which is socializing with each other. But then you could make the counter argument, the only reason we socialized each other is because we didn't have the internet to play with. Socializing with each other is quite inferior. We made a step up. It used to be that people walked down into the street and conversed with their neighbors. Well, because they didn't have phones, agreed? So when phones came in, you said, well, that's a technological detriment to society because we don't know what our neighbors look like anymore. And that doesn't seem to be a real, so the cry is always there, that, hi, come back. Come back. The cry is always there that something new is bad. It might not necessarily be bad, it needs to be analyzed. Okay, so you're addicted to the computer. Is it a superficial addiction that you can break?
Yes.
Yes. So, denial? Jane, comment.
Well, I was just gonna say that I think that part of the problem is that nobody really thinks it's a problem, so everyone is just plugged in and just reading other people's opinions all day instead of having the experience and formulating their own.
Not only reading other people's opinion, but I think you all know that Yahoo and everyone else shows you news items based on the news items you looked at yesterday.
Yeah.
So you're only seeing things that support your viewpoint, because that keeps you on the website, keeps you looking at those commercial ads, how they make theirs. So you're having channel-fed news. You're not getting a wide picture. And you're seeing things that they expect that you're gonna click on and read. And you're not seeing the opposing viewpoint at all any longer. When you do it that way, that's another aspect of it. But do you have the feeling that those people that work at Yahoo and Google are starting to control you? Amazon, Yahoo, Google, they're controlling you? And you will tolerate it as long as it's nice, but at a certain point, if they cross a certain line, you're going to reestablish your identity? Mike, comment? They've already crossed that line?
No, they haven't crossed the line, that's,
Okay, I'm just suggesting that many people feel that this is a problem now, which is why we have rehab center. The estimated number is that 25% of Americans have computer addiction. It's probably a low number. And certainly it's detrimental to societal relationships as we've known them. I mean, you go to Mokoteki, everybody is in their own, you go to Mokoteki, 6 people come in to eat. First thing they do is sit down, they order, next thing they do is they all take out their phones and they go into silent mode. No, not a single word of conversation, the whole meal.
Family dinner.
And they get up and leave, you know? Have dinner with your friends.
Get together with your friends and talk.
How many of you say we're talking about you? Okay, is there any negative to this, Sierra?
Yeah, 'cause yeah, you don't have the full like focus on. So like maybe my husband's talking to me, I'm on my phone, and then he asked me like an important question. Maybe I didn't hear what he said, which is
That doesn't cause a fight, does it?
no, we don't fight.
Okay,
Being
good.
serious.
How many say you're on thin ice at such a moment, though? And that if you're with someone and your phone rings, now this is etiquette. Everyone has a different view. For example, if you and I, or if I'm tutoring you in the room or something like that, or we're just having a conversation, and your phone rings, what do?
You're on something. Oh.
How many of you just pick up the phone and start talking? Okay, that used to be the normal when phones first came out. If your phone rang, you picked it up and shouted to let everyone know you had a phone. Because that was status. Then it became everybody had a phone, you don't have to do that anymore. But people have gotten a lot more subdued in their use of the phone. They won't shout into it anymore. They'll try to talk low. They may even try to go to a common, quiet place.
You're not talking about Americans, are you?
Tell us about Atlanta. Tell us about the Atlanta Mall.
Yeah.
He experienced culture shock. He went from Masawa to Atlanta for a 3-year job. And he had culture shock going to America. Tell us.
Well, everybody knows that most Americans don't do that.
Well, what was Atlanta? I mean, how was Atlanta? Was it worse than the typical?
Well, I
place?
think it's just bad anywhere in America.
Yeah.
You know, people are standing anywhere in the department stores, at the airport, and they're just talking as loud as they can.
I think Mike doesn't like it.
I don't wanna hear their conversation.
Okay, I take the bus to the airport in Aomori, and there's a sign on the front over the driver, no cell phones must be off at this time, out of respect for your fellow travelers. And I was so happy when I saw that sign. And then a few moments later, a couple of Americans, fellow Americans boarded the bus. I didn't have to look up, you could hear them. As Mike said, they got to the back and they saw the sign and it says, why? They said, why? Why not use your cell phone on the bus? You know, and of course everybody heard them. And they could not understand. They absolutely could not understand the rule. Because it's a matter of what's natural to one.
Isn't it like in Japanese culture not to walk down the street like on your phone? Isn't that bad? Like to be on the phone, like just walking down the street just like this, or like talking on your phone, just like walking down.
I've seen people texting and riding bicycles.
Really?
There's a new generation, so it's the
It
case
just
by
it
case.
seems like so different than.
Text and drive, they do everything.
Yeah, they do text and drive too. All that's true. I don't know, but it is a Japanese thing you should not do is annoy your neighbor, true? So that's very strong, so it depends on what you do.
It's like, I live in a mansion and it's a high rise, so 15 floors by 5 and it's dead silent. Like, it's ridiculous. I never talk to my neighbors, they never talk to us, it's like,
Are you comfortable?
I hate it. You know, it's like a prison. Like,
What's the
nobody
address?
comes
I'm
to-
gonna move there. I love it.
Nobody comes to like borrow sugar, like that's not, it's like
Yeah,
you
you
run out
see,
of sugar, it's like, oh, go
This
to
is
the
a
store.
cultural
Like, come on,
difference.
dude. They're right next door.
Yeah.
I know he's got some sugar. You can't just ask that guy for some sugar? No, it's just inappropriate, like, yeah, I guess so, it's ridiculous, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you'd be labeled.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody is acting normal. Japanese are acting normal for
Yeah, that's
Japanese,
what I said.
Americans are acting normal for Americans. And they're both acting in good faith. It's just that
Well,
people,
I wouldn't say that about Americans, but.
people are different.
American problem, like it's Japanese or other countries. I mean, like
The ugly
maybe
American.
for, as you said, like on the train or bus or public transportation, like not only American, like following like this, like the Chinese or
Mhm.
any other country
Mm.
do the different way than Japanese do. So
Right.
it's not
Okay.
American problem.
Does There's another one that Americans seem to come out on the good side of. If you go into McDonald's and there's 20 people waiting, then these 20 people will queue up, agreed?
Yep.
That's normal for us. Did you ever go into a Chinese McDonald's? Boom! The hamburger goes to the firsters. So, there are cultural differences. America sort of looks down their nose in the other direction. British look down their nose on everything.
Yeah, right.
We know what a suite software is, or a software suite. What's a keyboard shortcut? Jordan Green, you know what a keyboard shortcut is?
You really want to answer this?
It's a shortcut on the keyboard, go there.
Yeah.
My keyboard shortcut is,
Allows you to instantly access a program or
an operation.
operation.
Right, for example, cut and paste, you can do a right click, cut, or you can do Control C, Control V. Because before we had mice, we had keyboard shortcuts. The mice came later, so they stick around. And there are many of them. Many of them are obscure, not well known, and you can get a list of about 20 keyboard shortcuts for the current version of Windows, which if you work with Windows all day long, you would want to have, they use. And there are also some hidden ones that are put in by the Microsoft Windows programmers, and they don't share those with the public. But if you know such a programmer and you're privy to some of those, they can be really entertaining.
I was just wondering where the V come from.
The V,
Yeah. like-
Control V,
Yeah, I mean, like a V is paste, I know that, but,
why did they choose V?
yeah.
It's next to C.
Oh, that's why, oh.
Copy paste. Copy paste quicker. What are you using your other hand?
Kiss.
Yeah. That's so nice.
I wouldn't have gotten that
Thank
one.
Really? It's right.
Well, yeah, but Control X is on the other side, and that's the one that causes me to lose a lot of material.
What is that? Like,
They should have put Control X over
Yeah,
there.
right where, on the escape key.
Yeah. Okay. They tell you how to do things that you've known how to do since third grade.
Pretty much, exactly.
Okay, they got a few pages here in a database, which should have been amusing to you since you're much further along than any of that. Okay, so now what is AutoCAD? Volunteer, AutoCAD, anybody?
Like a 3D graphic.
Used by architects, used by anyone who wants to design a mechanical object?
That's
Is it an expensive program?
Yes.
Very expensive. Is it well rated, many stars?
Yes.
Many stars. And the company that puts it out is?
Pass.
What company puts out AutoCAD? My memory is that it's the same old Adobe that puts out other such beautiful programs. Not very wrong. Oh, it doesn't tell you the company in here. Okay, so my next question to you is, somebody tell me about the program called PageMaker. Jeff knows, he's smiling. He doesn't want to talk because that's his persona that he's projected, but he wants to violate it because he knows PageMaker. Jordan, can you tell us anything?
Yeah, it makes a page.
Yeah, make a page for professionals. Many of you can publish an acceptable document in Microsoft Word, but if you're making a professional level poster, something that your company's success or failure is going to ride upon, you need a much more powerful graphics tool. And the standard one was, I think it was also Adobe PageMaker. It's a standard one in the profession. And the people that used it 20 years ago would only use a Mac computer because that had the best screens, still does. And it was a standard, industry standard, very expensive program. What is Bill Gates' usual marketing procedure when he's up against a very expensive, very well qualified competition program?
He undercuts them.
You're right, he builds a knockoff that sells at a lower price. So Adobe PageMaker owned the market. How many of you have heard of Microsoft Publisher?
Oh, really? Is
It
that?
played the same game. Played the same game. Gives you about 70% of what PageMaker will do, which is pretty good. And he originally sold it for $50. I don't know what it's up to now. But you can do near professional, if not professional level graphics on it, okay? For example, in PageMaker, you can count pixels.
Useful.
If useful, you want that level.
Are they called-
Project, yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna say, isn't the pixel depth measurement, isn't that a pica? When you're going pixel by pixel? Is that called pica?
Pica,
Pica is,
pickled peppers.
Yeah.
What's that, right? Oh, never mind. Okay, a pica is not, is that not a unit of font size?
Oh, you know what, yeah, you're right.
Say it louder.
Pica, you're
No, those
right,
last two words.
you're right.
That's right,
Face the camera.
that's wrong.
I don't get it enough. Okay, that's a pica and a pixel, and